Sheridan from Rust Belt Basketball Coaches Network. Thank you for joining us. Before we get started, I'd like to give a quick shout out to our sponsors. Our sponsors make our events happen. They allow us to provide our services to you at an extremely affordable price. Let's get started off with the Anthony Wayne Barbershop located in Maumee, Ohio. You walk into Christy Wagner's Anthony Wayne Barbershop and you mention RBCN and you'll receive a haircut and an old school straight razor neckline shave for $14. There's a reason why Christy Wagner's Anthony Wayne Barbershop has been in business for so long. Her work is second to none. Give her a chance. She will not let you down, folks. Danny's Cafe, located in beautiful Rossford, Ohio, for an atmosphere that is second to none, for food, service that are off the hook. Visit Danny's Cafe, and if you purchase a $5 RBCN discount card, you'll receive a 10% discount off of your meals. RBS Activewear, your source for staff apparel, team apparel, custom designs, awards, plaques, practice gear, anything you need in the athletic apparel world or awards, RBS Activewear is your source. Grip Spritz. Are your athletes constantly sliding on the court? If you're looking for a better way to service your athletes in regards to shoe to court traction, you've got to try Grip Spritz. It's easy to use. It is ultra affordable. Grip Spritz will last a long time and replacements are extremely affordable. You will not be spending $80 to $100 on replacement materials. Give them a shot. I guarantee you will never go back to the other shoe to court traction materials you were previously using. Hoops Lab, play designer technology. Hoops Lab is an extremely user-friendly for your play designing needs. Hoop Labs has dramatically simplified our play designing both on the offense and defense for our clients and our free weekly newsletter named in Ted's honor. As I mentioned earlier, it is extremely user-friendly. If an old dog like myself can figure out how to use it, and not just use it, but use it efficiently, trust me, anybody can. Visit the Hoops Lab website and enter discount code hoops-lab.com and then in all caps, Rust Belt Basketball, and you'll receive 10% off of either a 3-month subscription or an annual subscription to the Hoops Lab Play Designer system. Thrive Wellness, located in Richmond, Indiana, promoting overall health and well-being through traditional and holistic medicine. Purchase a $5 RBCN discount card and you will receive 15%. What a deal! 15% off of any treatment Thrive Wellness offers. Give Thrive Wellness an opportunity to help you become more healthy. I am a client and I am sold. I've been in 3 times for different treatments. I haven't felt this good in a long, long time. Let Team Farley, Amy and Tony Farley, help you make your life more healthy. Welcome aboard, everybody. Derek Sheridan and Wayne Brooks from Rust Belt Basketball Coaches Network. We are stoked. We have one of the all-time record holders with us this evening from the great state of Indiana, and Coach Joey Hart. I know Coach Brooks was telling me earlier, Joey, that you have the most 20-win seasons in Indiana high school basketball history. Is that
That was we had 11 consecutive.
11? Wow.
Yeah, so
that's unreal.
Yeah, really good for well over a decade.
The only program I know, and I don't think it was 11, but Dean Foster at Penn strung together back-to-back seasons where it was something similar to that.
Yeah.
Coach Hart's going to take us through his 1-3-1 zone defense, his program trademarks, and then touch upon his player development program. Most of you know that Coach Hart, boy, is playing for John Calipari at the University of Kentucky, and if not the most popular, but was one of the most popular high school basketball players in the great state of Indiana since Brody Boyd. He played at Iowa.
Yeah.
Well, he was
Yeah,
the last kid from that area that I remember went to the Big Ten. If my memory doesn't, is
yeah,
that right?
yeah.
You know,
He played for my dad. He
is
played
that
for
right?
he played for old Joe Hart. Yeah.
Well, Coach, thank you for donating your time to Rust Belt Basketball Coaches Network. And Wayne has been texting me quite a bit the last few days, so we're stoked. We're ready to hear what you have to say to us.
Okay. Well, I'll get right in on the 131 and then talk about some things that uh, I also think are real important to having a quality basketball program. But as far as the 131 goes, it's not mine. It's my father's. You know, he was a huge 131 guy. He played it uh, a few different ways, but they were all pretty aggressive. You know, it was a trapping 131, and he had been on my staff the last 11 years before passing away in September. And so, you know, this was kind of his baby. This is what he was famous for, and we really worked together on a lot of stuff to tweak it and constantly make it better. Uh, you know, I'll start with thing that's on the top of all of our scouting reports. First thing listed on every scouting report, it says move on ball flight. The game will be won while the ball's in the air. You know, I mean, everybody wants to have the ball, everybody wants to shoot the ball, but most games are won when that ball's in the air. What are you doing then? Uh, so that's where we start with it. It's very important to our program, and we love the 131 because it does get you moving. It does get you flying around. Uh, why the 131? Uh, in Southern Indiana, the pace is very slow at times, and it allows us to change the pace, transition scoring, less plays by the offense as far as half court offense. It creates an aggressive culture, and we could go 6 weeks without playing a possession of 131 in the games, but our reputation is such that it's also going to occupy our opponent's prep time, even if we don't play it. It's it's lurking, it's waiting, and so that's some of the reasons. When I was a Turkey Run north of I-70, those teams played faster, so I coached very slow. Wayne was up there in Park County at the time, Riverton Park, and he could tell you, there's lots of different styles and ways you can play. And up north of I-70, I thought slow versus fast was better. Here in Southern Indiana, I came to a football school at Linton, and we weren't going to out fundamental people. We weren't going to out fundamental Lagodi or Bar Reeve or Bloomfield or North Davis. But what we could do is we could get the game played on our terms. And it was very disruptive and proved to be very successful. I'll get right into personnel. The things we look for: height, length, wingspan. Our 2013 state finals team did not have a fifth starter. We took a kid that was like sixth man on the JV the year before, but he was 6'3" at the 6'5" wingspan. He could make a set shot three. And all of a sudden he was in our lineup every game because of his wingspan and because of his ability to make a shot. The head of the 131, the top guy's got to be long, bouncy, and have a great motor. We don't play small people up top. The tail, the smallest athlete, also with a great motor, doesn't get screened, got some toughness. Wings, length, rebounding, anticipation skills. And the guys on the wing have to have a short memory because, we're constantly telling them, get back, get back, get back. Don't give up a diagonal pass, but, they're gambling at all times. So they're baiting that guy into throwing that pass too. The middle guy, the heart of it, has to be strong, intelligent, have good feet and toughness. Responsibilities, for the head of it, get the ball out of the middle, trap the top, cover ball side, high post when the ball goes low, and I'll discuss some of these things on the board here in a minute. The middle guys running the high post, never allowing penetrating passes. He drops the level of the ball. As soon as there's any pass made down, he becomes ball side block, and he's not total front, but he's side fronting that. Again, no penetrating passes. He has to make him throw a lob that the backside wings cover. Wings, strong side trap, weak side get back, no splits. I mean, so I'm giving the basics here first, and I have this in a PDF. Somebody wants it. Tail, corner to corner trap, contain on the baseline, no corner threes. I'd rather them get beat off the bounce than give up a corner three. They can't happen. And with the 1-3-1 trap, and this is what we say in our program, everything is related to time and score. And I'll get in this minute. This is a terrible defense up 10. Especially you take some of the talented teams we've had, they get up 10 if they're in this. You can bet anything you want that they're going to give up a wide open three because they're just going to try to get the ball back and go the other end and score. But down 6, it may be the best defense. So everything's related to time and score. The basics, you got to move on ball flight, trap in 4 corners, no splits, no penetrating passes again. Keep the ball out of the middle, no catch and shoot threes. Now, a few things I want to discuss as far as the 1-3-1 goes with the make sure this isn't too awful. I don't know if you guys can see that or not.
Yeah.
Okay. The top guy is something that a lot of people don't discuss. On a pass across, so he's trapping here. On a pass across, he doesn't run to that guy. He runs a V. Okay. The other wing's back when the ball's here. And as that ball gets thrown, he's got to come up. This guy runs a V because if he tries to run straight there, that guy's gone. And, a lot of people don't tell their top guy that. He runs a V. So your real advanced top guys do that. They have to take away the high post anytime they're not trapping. So when the ball's in the corner, they're on the ball side elbow. So the top guy has some jobs that, besides just being out there wagging their tongue like a wild dog, they've got to cover the high post, what's in the corner, and they've got to run this V. And then the real advanced guys at the top. Remember Jake Odom played at Indiana State, played at Terre Haute South. His brother Zach Odom was one of the best guys I ever saw at the top for Mike Saylor, and he would take hard steps at guys and jump back. He used a lot of foot fakes and stuff. He didn't just run back and forth, but he was very advanced up top with his wingspan, his length. As far as for all positions, we want to get in their vision. Don't let them pick their pass. No one gets to be comfortable. And one of the sayings we have is over us or under us, but never through us. If we see passes with arc, we know real early on we're probably winning that game. But those people that are snapping passes on us, and throwing direct passes and diagonals and then reversals back to the corner, then we have to do some things. Wings, get them off the wing. So here's another problem area in the 1-3-1 because we're trapping in all 4 corners. We're trapping here everywhere. But what happens when the ball's right here? What happens when the ball's here on the wing and she got me a towel? The ball gets thrown from here. We've just trapped. This wing guy has to go push this down. And he has to jam that guy and push that guy down to the corner as hard as he can so that we can get our corner trap. If we let him hold it on the wing, our middle guy and our back guy are paralyzed. The back guy doesn't know if he should go out to trap because it's too high. The middle guy doesn't know if he should drop it because it's too high. So we just leave some guys in real undefined areas and confusion if you leave it on the wing. So wings got to push it down. The other thing, this happens 2/3 of the way through the season every year, as your wings start having more success and getting steals, they just get higher and higher. So they get to the point they're almost at half court. So as the season goes on, you can continually have to back your wings up. Tell them, they don't need to be trapping at 40 feet, because if you do, it extends your defense and, stretches things out. So we got to make sure they stay back. As far as not giving up the diagonals, wings have to make them throw it in front. This pass here, the diagonal pass, when they throw it behind the wing here, this is a killer. So the wing has to drop back, make them throw it in front, and if it's soft and with arc, then it's a dunk. So, once you convince them that you make them throw it in front of you, you got a chance to score. That registers a little bit. You have to rebound. The wings really have to rebound. They're our most important rebounders. And, the last thing is we talk about no splits, no splits, no splits. With our best wings, we also have something where we force the split. We force the split and we punch it loose. We don't do that often. We do that when we, again, have to create tempo, but it is something we will do when it's when they're told. Back guy handles the short corner. The middle guy does not go out in the short corner. Back guy can't get too high. He should never, on the high school courts, he should never be above the volleyball line. And the other thing with the back guy is, and this is kind of one of our staples of our program, he's not to ever be screened. It's like you hear these guys, well, I got screened. Well, are you blind? I always tell our guys that when they get back from spring break and the season's over, if they want to come back and play an open gym, first couple of days, maybe they could get screened then. But other than that, when they're keeping score and we're trying to win, I really don't ever want to hear about them getting screened. Then for our middle guy, stay home. It's not a wrestling match. We don't want to wrestle. We want to touch and move, and we pull the chair on guys. The middle guy's huge for us. The middle guy last year won the conference for us on the road here at North Davies. Joey made a shot, and everybody thought it was wonderful. But, they're holding it for one shot, and our middle guy steals the ball, gets us the last possession of the game. So, everybody plays a part. It takes everyone. Again, this can be a terrible defense when you're up 10. We have an assistant coach on our staff at all times tracking possessions. We're very interested in how many possessions we get a quarter. I'll ask the first time 4 minutes in the game, how many possessions have we had? Baseline out of bounds responsibilities. This drives me crazy. People play this defense, but then they don't discuss what we do when it goes baseline out of bounds. Well, you have specific responsibilities. So the ball's getting thrown in here. The post guy takes the ball side block. We have a wing takes the corner. We have a wing takes the weak side corner. The tail takes the weak side block. And then the top guy is right here, and he takes every lob. So basically, we force him to throw it over the top of us. And once we do that, then we're right into it. But you'd be surprised at how many teams will have a good 1-3-1 going. The ball gets knocked out of bounds, and they go man to man, or they go 2-3. They have to go do something else because they've never discussed how to play the 1-3-1 baseline out of bounds. So it's not that difficult, and again, it forces the ball to be thrown over the top. I struggle as a coach personally with anyone ever scoring on baseline out of bounds because as a guy with 2 math degrees, I know we have 5 defenders versus 4 offensive players. And when you give up baskets 5 versus 4, that's a problem. But it happens. Some people run some really good stuff. Over us or under us or never through us, we discussed that. Talked about our middle guy, how important he is in the center of the defense. And, that's with the top the whole way. Our wings get a lot of glory in this. They get to rebound it. They get to steal it. They get out in transition. But like anything, the heart of your defense is your middle guy, your tail guy, your top. They've got to keep the ball out of this shoot. Because, ball's in the middle of the floor, everybody's a weapon. Probably the thing that I would say to young coaches, you can't be a prisoner to the 1-3-1. And that probably goes for anything. I think people sometimes fall in love with it and they can play it too much. Situational practice, short corner stuff. You got to practice how to handle the short corner. It's our tail guy, our bottom guy. He goes out and covers the short corner. Our post guy does not leave the lane. If our middle guy leaves the lane, he better have the ball in his hands. Handling screens, getting through the baseline screens. A lot of people will attack it with. You get this play a lot. So they'll throw it here, and we're going to trap this. And this guy's running through, and we're setting an interior screen. And so they're going to try to screen the bottom guy. And just like in our man-to-man principles, our bottom guy just goes first man, stays attached to the shooter. And our post guy, as the ball's being thrown, drops and takes the slip. But you have to practice some of those things. Some people will try to up screen. They'll throw it here. They'll throw it out to this corner, and they'll screen our post guy so he can't drop and dive. That's a nice play out of it that we've had to adjust. Again, you have to guard that guy like it's man to man, so that you don't give up that. What else? I think a few other things as far as some great players we played against. Cooper Neese, who's at Indiana State, was a Coverdale. He's a top 10 scorer in the state of Indiana. Jalen Moore, top 10 scorer in the state of Indiana, had a great career at Olney and then at Oakland University. I think he may have led the country in assists in Division I last year. But Jalen was a great player, and we never tried to steal the ball from Jalen. What we did with him is we basically just corral trapped him. Just continually corral trapped him. We didn't ever want him to split us. You can just unplug that and move that out of the way. We got a shooting gun going out, so excuse me. Good problem to have. People want to shoot, but yeah, as far as with great ball handlers, when I say corral trap, it's just don't get split. Get them to give it up because, it's another thing the 1-3-1's great at. It makes some of your lesser ball handlers make decisions. So there are times when we only trap the best players. We let the other people catch that thing, and sometimes to them, depending on time and score, it feels like it's a bomb. But again, that's one of our philosophies, to trap the good players to make the bad players beat you. As far as drills, we have several drills we do. We do keep away twice a week. The 3 players for 90 seconds constantly. And it's not just one person in the middle. You trap, they pass it. The guy that passes, it's the next trapper. So we alternate the middle guy every play. We do a corner trap drill, 2 trappers and ball handler in the corner. We also do 4-on-4 passing, traps, 3-on-3 passing. And then about once a month, we'll do positional station work for the wings, the middle, the tail, the back. And it's just positional station work to kind of refresh. Okay, this hasn't been good. So if you're going to be great at something, it doesn't just happen. You got to spend some time at it. And then as far as rebounding out of it, it's all of our basic rebounding drills that we do. I love it. I love what it does as far as what it does for our morale. It makes us always think we have a chance to win. Now, I also hate the 1-3-1. I say I love it. I also hate it. It's kind of a thing where we were more than the 1-3-1. Again, we'd won 20 games 11 years in a row, and people, they just play the 1-3-1. Well, we won a semi-state. We won a semi-state once playing 2-3 zone, only playing 5 guys and turning it over 20 times a game. It was unheard of. But we also shot like 66% from the field through the tournament. Our starting point guard tore his ACL, and we just played a bunch of 6'4" and 6'5" kids. We in 19 we won a semi-state playing all man-to-man. That team couldn't play the 1-3-1. They weren't good at it. It just wasn't them. Then 23, we could play man. We could play 1-3-1. Was the most athletic team we'd had. But we had to play 1-3-1 to get people in Southern Indiana to shoot the ball. We played really good man defense, and they just hadn't shot it in a minute. And it's like, okay, we've just tried really hard here for a minute. We don't have the ball. So, so that was kind of what we ran into with that. Again, the players like it because it creates tempo. I like it because we know immediately who's responsible for what if a basket's made. We last year's by far the best team we had playing the 1-3-1. To this point, we had a kid named Logan Webb who'd signed with Benson's out of high school last spring, and he was our top guy in 2022. And he was an exceptional top guy. He did a great job. We couldn't play him on the top in 23 because Braden Walters, who's now a senior at Terre Haute North, he was so much better at the top than anyone we'd ever had. We had to play him at the top. Braden didn't really like playing the top. Didn't want to play the top. He's the best top guy we'd ever had. So we played him there anyway. We didn't vote on it, but but I guess I'll get to some of the other stuff. But is there any questions, like anything you want to ask about the 1-3-1? I feel like I've just talked for 30 straight minutes.
Do you ever play the 1-3-1 not trapping?
Yeah, I love a 1-3-1 matchup. It's kind of like the point zone that Dean Smith, John Thompson ran some, Roy Williams ran some at Kansas and Carolina. I love that 1-3-1, and it's just a matchup zone. Our girls team played it exceptionally well under Coach Rimmel a few years back, but we had and I played. It was our color-wise. It was our white defense was our matchup 1-3-1. We played a ton of turkey run. I don't know if we may have played it 5 possessions in my 13 years of it. Again, because it was a tempo situation. Though I love the 1-3-1 not trapping. Coach Dalrymple plays it a little bit here. He plays some really good zones here at North Davies. But I didn't like the matchup for us because it slowed the game down. And we didn't want to slow the game down. So that was why the switch from turkey run to Linton, we didn't play it not trapping at Linton. So
what kind of man you been playing?
You know what? We switch as much as we can. There are times, again, Braden Walters was such an exceptional defender last year. Last year we started 5 guys between 6'3" and 6'5". They're all about the same size. One was a little bigger, stronger guy, baseball player, and then our 6th man was 6'3", and so we could switch a lot of stuff. But then there were times with Braden Walters being so elite defensively that he didn't want to switch. He wanted just to eliminate his guy, which he could do. He did a great job of that. But we played a lot of open hand switching man. That's what we called it.
So when you're switching man to man, you guys got out and put your backs to the ball and really got out and denied the passing lanes and played way up the line on the line.
Yeah, we did, and trying to get our outside hand in the passing lane. I have guys that probably been away from me 5-6 years that still hear me complaining about them using the wrong hand to deny the ball and taking themselves out plays. But we've had some good man teams that went just because of some of these football athletes, some of these just Division I athletes that we've had. And if you ask the Linton kids to a man, I'll say, "What's the best help defense?" And they will answer, "No help defense required." It's like, so we took a lot of pride in just being able to guard our yard. If you could guard somebody for 3 dribbles, usually something good happened.
So what kind of offense do you guys use?
I love motion offense. We play a lot of 5 out, play a lot of 54, which is 5-man motion into 4-man motion. Anybody that has a post up or a matchup they like can go speed cut into it, can just walk their guy into the post. We can shallow cut and push a guy down. But I say that I can show you a playlist of 80 plays. That being, and I don't like to run a ton of plays, but I would say we play a more pro style offense than a lot of high school teams because my mindset is I want to exploit the best matchup. And there were people that gave me grief last year. And how coaches are, we bring it on ourselves. But I would stand my 2 leading scorers in opposite corners when we're up 10 because Braden Walters has the point. I can't guard him, and they're hugging my 2 leading scorers, and it just becomes a layup festival for us. He drives, they help, he passes it, we light it up. So it's just like, my offense is basically whatever best fits the matchups against the defense. So that's why we have a ton of different post up stuff. We like to post up guards, which obviously everyone their brother lately stole from Villanova, but it works because guards don't defend the post. But
Larry Engel, legendary high school coach in Indiana. He said, "Brooks, let me ask you a question." He said, "If you had a 6'8" kid that averaged 20 points a game, and you got to the sectional final and the 6'8" guy was guarding him," he said, "would you still throw him the ball?" I said, "Well, sure." He said, "Well, then why the hell don't you post up a 5'11" guard, a 5'11" guy on him? What's the difference? If the guy can score down there, he can score down there."
Yeah. So that was what we were last year with all those guys 6'3" plus. Let's face it, one of them was getting a 5'10" kid. And so we didn't get to play against a lot of man last year. It was mostly junk. Fortunately, our 6'4" post player, baseball player that didn't run real fast or jump very high. He'd step out and make 3. Everybody clap. So which I'll get into player development with that as we start to talk about offense. But Wayne, this is something I stole from Cliff Hawkins. Back when he was still at DeKalb. He'd been to a few places and he's still at Tipton now. But I was at Iowa Clinic with Alfred's Clinic in about 2001 in the fall, and Cliff said program trademarks. Everybody has to be able to shoot, pass, and dribble. And I'm like, yeah, right. So I was at 1A Shackmack at the time. Like, not everybody can shoot, pass, and dribble, but that's always been my goal ever since. Obviously, the more guys you have that can shoot, pass, and dribble, the easier the game gets. So, we had great success last year with our role guys being able to just make an open three. And as well as this, sometimes they don't have to make it; they just have to be willing to shoot it. If they're willing to shoot it and not hesitate, then again, you keep the tempo where you want it. But I think I'm trying to think as far as the defensive stuff, and kind of transitioning throughout my time at Linton. For my first 7 years at Linton, our defensive average went down every year for 7 years. And then in years 8 through 11, 8, 9, 10, 11, for those 4 years, it went up for 4 straight years. And then the last 2 years, it went back down again. But it's just, we got so much better offensively that we didn't worry about our defensive average. I mean, Wayne, do you think there are any coaches? Do you think there are any coaches that start every Saturday morning, Sunday morning, Monday morning, and Tuesday morning getting on John Harrell's and staring at their defensive average?
There probably is some guys.
Yeah, I mean, there are guys that stare at their defensive average and they haven't played a game since, and they check it again. That thing ain't changed. It's like, and so I have a rule on that is, with 3 boys, my kid isn't playing for that guy. I mean, that sounds like fun as a coach and stuff, but come on. I mean, there's lots of ways to win. And I used to be one of those guys, so that's how I know I can speak on that. I used to stare at my defensive average all the time. I think Ron McBride did that to me. I think he worked my mind. But his 3-2 matchup zone had me so screwed up for about 10 years. I didn't need any more help. But that's Southern Indiana basketball. There's a lot of great coaches, and they take a lot of pride in their defense. Like, North Davies this year, I mean, their defensive average is in the top 3 or 4 in the state. They just play this. They don't go way out or anything. They just play this real sticky zone that a lot of different rules, and they really work at it. It's just, a post guy's not going to do anything against them. You better be ready to make 10 threes, if you're going to beat them. So, again, there are all kinds of different philosophies, all kinds of things that coaches can do. But, I think kind of transitioning to, I don't know if I want to do, you want me to do player development or program trademarks first?
Whatever you want to do, Coach.
Okay. Well, one of our biggest program trademarks is player development. So I'll talk about the player development. I think developing players and developing skills allows you to do a lot more things offensively. It allows you to play at various styles and various tempos. So if you don't do that, let's face it, the less skilled your team is, the better coach you have to be. I mean, it's kind of like the team I had last year. I could run any play I wanted. It's probably going to work because of the personnel. It wasn't like I was a better coach than the other guy, but I had a lot better Jimmys and Joes. By the same token, through player development, I want to teach guys how to play rather than run a bunch of plays. 2019, we're playing Shenandoah in the semi-state. I think we're in 3 or 4 set plays to start the game. Then for the rest of the game and almost all of that state tournament, the only play we ran was called score. I told the point guard, I said, if we get a defensive rebound, do not look at me. Just go score the ball. Then our 19 team had all kinds of skilled scorers, had a 1,000-point score, 2,000-point score, guy that made 90-some threes. I mean, it was insane the way so we just played with pace and moved it and shared it and scored it. That was because of their player development. And, that really starts from about 3rd grade, and first thing I try to do is I try to build a rapport, with the player, what motivates them, What do they like? Is this a kid I can yell at and really get after? Is this a player, that can't be yelled at, that, kind of bristles up and goes into a dark place? I mean, you got to read the room. You got to know the kids. And then, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh grade, they're playing 3 sports in all these schools. And as you get older, you'll kind of see okay, this guy's a basketball player first, or this guy's a baseball player first. One of the things with player development that I really took pride in, is I had 3 Division I baseball players play for me, and Scott French at Chackamack, and then Josh Pine from Linton went to Indiana, and Kip Fugers from Linton went to Indiana, is now at Evansville. But, those guys were baseball players. And where I could have done the young, type A, my way or the highway, coaching thing and ran them off, I chose to have them. And, we just communicated with each other. I found out what they wanted out of the game, and everyone's different. You're going to have program guys. You're going to have guys that are just social players. And then you're going to have guys that are basketball first, guys that really love it. And then you're going to have guys that want to, basketball first guys that want to go beyond, and playing college, that have, long-term basketball goals. So to win at the 2A level, it takes all kinds. It takes the multi-sport athlete. Let's face it, a lot of times those guys are your best guys. They'll run through a wall for you. They just compete all the time. And we've had great success with those guys. But the my way or the highway world, it's kind of, it just doesn't work anymore with today's kids. I mean, my dad used to have a rule in his program that said if you didn't come to the game, you couldn't play. And he said he never had anybody break that rule. So, it's like he was a little bit less of a disciplinarian than you and I were, Coach. But, I mean, it worked for him. Those guys, it worked for him and Duggar, But every guy's different. So, try to build a rapport with them. And then once I get to know them, Linton, and everywhere I've been, it's opportunities. So, it's like, Brooke my wife only quit seeing me about 6 times in the first 3 weeks we were together, and I just kept, stayed after it and, wore her down. And that's the thing with like this, open gyms, camps, intramurals, leagues, travel, individual work. We opened the gym every morning at 6:40, and it was open for every student, not just like basketball players. Somebody wanted to come in and lift. There was somebody that just needed to drop their kid off early, it was kind of catch-all. And, we tried to make kids feel welcome. We tried to make kids that didn't have a lot of confidence, that we wanted to make them feel like it was okay for them to be around, a place to be. So, we're working a lot of different angles there, to help build our program and help the kids. But, so I feel like our individual work as they get older, we spend a lot of time doing 15 and 20-minute workouts, not real long ones, just attacking skills. And I love those. We had, I wasn't a post guy, but we did a lot of post 100 drills that are only 10, 15 minutes. We had like 4 different post 100 drills. It's just 100 shots, 100 different, 100 moves, about 15 of them. And, they're real quick. You get a lot done, but it just really helps your game. And so, we really try to tap into some of those things so the guys are still getting drill work done even during the season. One of the other things, I used to always say, beyond wanting everybody to shoot, pass, and dribble, every individual kid has to run their own race. And, talk about like Joey. My son was a player. He didn't put up the high school numbers that he could have because I was his coach. I didn't run just a ton of stuff for him. He was one of the most efficient guys we'd ever had scoring. I think he averaged like 24 as a senior, but, if we were up 30, he was out. We weren't chasing inconsequential numbers. It wasn't about that. I mean, he ended up with over 1,900 points, and he probably could have had 2,200 whatever, but no one, we're trying to win. The dude won 98 games. He started in 98 wins in his high school career. So you think about that. I mean, 24 and a half a year, so I think he participated on a team because of COVID where we didn't get to finish the end of his freshman year and through his sophomore year. I think he won 26 in a row once, and then his team last year won 25 in a row once. So, that's what he was about. But, as a fourth grader, he wasn't very good. And, before that, he thought he was a pterodactyl or a cat or, he just wasn't real interested in it. And, we got him on some AAU teams in like sixth grade. And he'd always be fifth or sixth man. He played a role. He had a spot, but he wasn't ever the best player. And it was the best thing for him because he learned to play a role. He learned to play without the ball. And we never, his work ethic is, kind of, it's so good, it's odd. I thought I had a good work ethic, but, I used to think maybe he was on the spectrum or something. It's like it's what he did. It's what he did. And, I told him a long time ago, I said, if you want to be great at this, it's a very lonely enterprise. You have to spend a lot of time by yourself. And he did. He was one of the most driven people I'd ever been around. And, but that was him. He had to run his own race, and it really paid off for him. We've had several guys like that they just kept getting better and kept getting better. And the thing with him is I don't think he's still done. I think he's not close to where he's going to be. He went to, his dream is to play professional basketball, and he went to the place that makes guards pros. So, every single situation he's had from AAU to his choice to UCF to his choice to Kentucky, he's always taken the most challenging road. And that's just his mindset, on his own.
Well,
go ahead.
He got a lot of that from you, Joey. I mean, Joey came to Vincennes as a freshman, and he's playing behind Jamie Matthews, who goes on and be successful at Ball State. Steve Worthy at the 2 spot that had a great career at Rutgers. And then now he's going to the sophomore year. We bring in Dwight Brown at the 2 spot, who signed for Florida State, and a very talented Kirksey kid from Illinois, quick point guard. But Joey put the time in and won that point guard spot. All the time you put in year round, before practice, after practice, player development. No one's put more time in than you have. Joey led the Vincennes team his sophomore year. We lost a close game to a top 5 JUCO team in Maryland Saturday Thanksgiving. We didn't lose another game till the Final Four in Hutchinson, Kansas in March. And Joey ran that team all those months.
Yeah, we won 25 or 27 in a row ourselves, I think.
Yeah, if what for the Kansas referees and call the travel on Dion in the lane.
We're probably national champions. So, yeah. But the world is round. So Dion Jackson's teammate, Darren Horn.
Yeah.
Darren's Northern Kentucky is the head coach now, and his son Walker Horn is a walk-on at Kentucky. So he's
really.
Yeah, so I see Darren every now and then. But yeah, we've talked about Dion a little bit. But we talked about every guy. You have to let every player run their own race. And we talked about the shoot, pass, and dribbling. But I think the thing that got me my opportunity was kind of my relentless work to change my shot and develop a college level jump shot. And one of the things I wrote in the player development is, what do you bring to the party? You got to bring something. And I felt like, with as talented as we were on the '92 team, just being willing to throw the ball ahead to those guys, because that was an unbelievable group of recruits. All the way down through like player 11. We were so talented, to just be able to throw ahead and make open jump shots. I mean, it wasn't a real difficult job once you figured that out. I might have been the point guard that dribbled the least of anyone ever. So because I couldn't handle pressure. So, as far as on ball pressure. So that worked out. But, that's, most of my player development. One of the things I ask all of our guys is, what are your long-term goals? What do you want to do? Like every guy on our team from last year in the top 7, top 8 guys will play college athletics. And that doesn't usually happen in 2A. We got Hunter Jennings, who's at Navy. We got Nathan Brady, who's at Taylor. Paul Oliver will probably be a Division I football player. He's just a sophomore. Logan Webb went to Vincennes. I think he's possibly getting ready to go somewhere else this fall. Braden Walters is undecided, but he's going to play scholarship basketball. Joey's Kentucky, obviously. I mean, it just goes on. Wrigley Franklin's football player at the University of Indianapolis. So, I mean, there's a certain personality that we're going after in our program, and we kind of try to foster the environment that allows those guys to do their sports and then come back to us. As far as program trademarks, I'll knock these out. I know I've talked for a long time, but first things I say at the first meeting as I start is, no one will do more for you, and no one will demand more from you. It's kind of give and take, and they don't get that until afterwards. I've had a lot of my guys that come back, that end up coaching, come back and say, I get that now, and I want, they want their program to be like that. And so we do invest a lot of time into our guys. Like letting our guys paid for nothing, everything. I mean, we basically ran a Division I basketball program at a 2A high school. They paid for no shoes, they paid for no sweat, they paid for nothing. They showed up and they played. They worked their butts off. A lot of that had to do with Joe Hart. He raised a lot of money for us. It gets to, my next thing is, one of the first things you have to do in any program is have a knowledgeable staff that cares about kids. As far as caring about kids, this is going to be, you guys are probably going to laugh about this. The number one rule in our programs: don't get dead. They're not, oh, that's terrible. We talk about all the time about making good decisions, not getting dead. And knock on wood, we've never had to deal with that. We've lost a lot of dads. We've had to deal with that. I mean, we had a streak like 3 or 4 years in a row, and it was really rough on our guys. It was like every September something, but we were a very close group. So, but we do take that very seriously. Every player in our program said, yeah, number one rule: don't get dead. But, you've heard me say, as far as program trade, there's lots of ways to win. We want our guys to be able to play all tempos and all styles. We've held it for 3 or 4 minutes. I know it sounds like I've been on here, play fast, play fast. Yeah, I mean, I want to play fast, but you got to be willing to win the game. Coach will play at Terre Haute North. Coach Rimmel, who's state champion, girls coach at Linton. We talk about that a lot. It's got to be 1 point better. We take a lot of pride in being able to win those wars. But you get them to play bad, they get you to play bad, but you're 1 point better. That's, those are sometimes some of the most satisfying wins. So you got to be able to play all tempos, all styles. For the 10th time, we want everyone to be able to shoot, pass, and dribble. Number one offensive rule in the program is throw the ball to our team. Again, sounds very sarcastic, sounds very smart aleck, but it's a big deal. I mean, a lot of us take pride in our defense. We don't have a defense for the 1-on-0 layup the other way. So, the throw the ball to our team eliminates a lot of the live ball turnovers. Live ball turnovers are killers. So, that's why that is what it is. We talk about it almost daily. Old Joe Hart was to shoot it before you turn it over. You can't rebound a turnover. That's that's one of his things. We talked about, teaching guys how to play. Why would we run a play? We run the plays to score. So we want to focus more on teaching how to play than just running a play. And then as far as for us, we took a lot of pride being the most prepared team of anyone. We probably have 80 clips for our guys to watch for every game. As a staff, we watch every possession the other team plays. We chart every possession the other team plays. We have every shot they've taken. With the technology today, you can do it. There's no excuse not to have it. And do you want to win or do you not want to win? So, we try to leave no stone unturned that way. And then, beyond that, we try to build leaders and then let them lead. And, one of my proudest moments as a coach was in 16. Joe Ball, whose dad's friend of mine, John, he passed away that September. And his brother is a junior, he's a senior. They lost their dad in September. They're two, excellent players, college level players. And we're just playing awful right around Christmas. And you don't think about first Christmas without their dad. Just a lot going on, and I got on him. I said, we don't have any leadership right now. And I'm like, we're not playing very well. Well, we don't have any leadership. So I told the team right in front of everybody. And he stopped me. And he let everyone know, he goes, I'm the leader of this team. He said, and I will lead. He goes, I may not lead the way you want me to always, but I'll lead, and I'm the leader. And we got better immediately after that. And he just let everybody know that, he was going to lead, he was going to take care of it. Great guy, great player. He ended up coaching for us last year, actually. Excuse me, coached my twins, coached Toby and Jack last year. And he'll be a good varsity coach if he decides that's what he wants to do. But guy's a special guy. But we've had several of those where we played a part maybe in helping them become leaders, and then they were exceptional after that. So I think that's about all I have. Hey, you guys got anything for me?
Well, I appreciate you coming on. It was fun hearing you talk about X's and O's. I've always admired the job you've done, Coach. And you're definitely one of those guys. If you were ever had an assistant coaching position, I live in the area, I wouldn't think twice if you offered me a job to work for you.
That'd be awesome. If I had another hour, I'd talk to you about all the flare screens I like to set. Flare slip. I love that action. Again, people don't practice guarding that action as much.
You hardly see it. I got to send you. I watched the Saturday Virginia game, which I got it recording right now. They're playing as we speak, but I got it on DVR. Bennett ran a hell of a flare screen play at crunch time out of a timeout. I'll draw it up and send it to you.
All right. I tell you what, Cal runs some really good stuff out of timeouts. He gets a bad rap sometimes because he doesn't get credit for X's and O's because he's such a talented recruiter. But if you watch their first play, out of halftime, and almost invariably under 10 minutes to go in the game, side out or baseline, he'll just get somebody a ridiculously wide open look, and it's based on their scouting and their prep. They're doing it geared towards there. I know what the other team's going to do, and he got his 4-man backup post, a wide open 15-footer on baseline out of bounds on the road in Florida that tied the game, and that guy sees one go in, and then with like a minute and a half left, he goes pick and pop with him, and the guy makes three, and those shots decided the game, and they're wide open just because he knew their personnel and he knew his personnel. So, that stuff's always fun to watch. those guys are what they are for a reason. They don't. It's not an accident. They got where they got. You know.
Right.
But the Kentucky thing's been a learning experience for me because I thought IU fans were pretty serious about it. Big Blue Nation's a whole different animal.
Yeah.
Well, you know, the state of Kentucky doesn't have professional sports, so Kentucky basketball is their. I mean, you know, so it's it's a different world. It's pretty awesome, pretty neat. You know, it's really neat to see your kid get to be a part of that family for sure.
That's something to be proud of for sure.
Well, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Derek. Thanks a lot, Wayne. Hopefully we can do it again sometime.
Well, you stay in touch with me. Let me know what's all's going on, and I'll keep following Joey on TV there.
Will do, and I'll be up your way pretty soon.
Yeah, let me know when you're here. Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, and take it to the bank. Wayne will be reaching out to you again. We definitely want to talk to us about the flare screens and everything you were just discussing. So we will have you back on whenever you are ready.
Okay, yeah. Love the flare screens, and it's a lot of actions you can run versus man or junk. So, hey, thanks a bunch, guys.
Thank you, Coach.